Hello and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave and I'll be your game master for this session of Pendragon. Today we are continuing the King's Gambit, that is the second adventure contained within the Pendragon Game Master's Handbook, and all of the Pendragon products, including the core rulebook, starter set, Game Master's Handbook, and the Grey Knight. Adventure are all available over at chaosium.com. We do stream live each week over on Twitch, and all of our videos are collected over on the Chaosium YouTube channel, so you can find those there. Last week, we began our second adventure after the winter phase ended. It is now 5:09, and those flippin' Saxons have been trampling around our castle, the castle on the rock, Sarum, for 2 weeks. So some of our knights clobbered one of theirs, and a good time was had by all. We will kind of resume. We'll pick back up as the duel draws to a close, and it'll be in that context that we reintroduce each of our player knights. Art, would you like to begin first?
Hi, I'm Art, and I'm playing Sir Boris Morrison. Large, loud, and extremely enthusiastic. That's it.
Yeah. And great at clobbering Saxons. We love it.
Great at also just standing there and being like, I have a shield. Hit me, bro.
Try
See
it,
what
guy.
happens.
A very successful team. Well, speaking of the other half of that very successful team, Jackson's character.
Hey, that's me. I'm Jackson. I'm playing Sir Hervis, son of Pharamond, of the golden hair, of the public relations, of the gleaming teeth, the dulcet tones, and of the spin. And what a spin I'm going to put on this victory over the half-giant Saxon knight.
This is the sort of one you bust out the compose skill for. This is poem territory.
Is that a bit gauche to write a poem about yourself, or is that the done thing?
Oh, very.
You have to wait for somebody else to do it?
Well, I think if you wait, you might be waiting forever. I think get out there and have a crack yourself. Put ink to quill. Oh, you're illiterate though, so you're gonna have to be dictating to someone.
Oh, yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's compose 5. Never mind. Okay, someone else can do that.
Yeah. let the poets have this one. Let's go across to James and Samob.
I can outsource my composing these days. It's never been easier. Composing poems, they're the gig economy.
Exactly. I can't think of something that rhymes with Uber, which is also a poetry thing. Oh well. I'm Mob. I'm on a horse. I'm riding really, really fast towards a place where I can spy on the Saxons as they leave. We beat up their best guy, and now we got to watch them go so we can hurl insults.
Yeah, and just general abuse from your lofty position.
Exactly, and I'm the religious knight.
That's right, so he is.
Well, not yet, I don't have the stats for it, but I'll get there eventually.
And lastly, we have Alex and Dame Tremor.
Hello, I'm Alex. I'm playing Dame Tremors of Summerland, and I'm just so happy to be here. I'm just so grateful to be here. I killed a man.
You did.
I killed a buddy. I killed a pal. Not a pal. He was terrible. But I killed a peer, and I really shouldn't have. And I think I'm over that now. It was really bothering me for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, swore a debt. Swore a life debt to his sister. That's not going to come back to haunt me at all.
Yes, there's as a small oath has been sworn. And as Lady Jenna and her entourage have been staying in Sarum over the winter and through these recent Saxon sort of civil invasion, there's been a pretty constant reminder as this.
Good about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like if I was less of a humble person and if I wasn't quite as like modest and just at peace with what I've done, then that would probably be really upsetting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how do you think you've been? So
I'm fine.
Great. Do you want to do a trait roll to see how you've kind of been handling this constant reminder presence? Has it been kind of been able to be put to the side a little bit, or is it kind of picking at your conscience So
You have a
Arcu
high
Stefan in
proud score,
chat
do you?
has suggested Proud, yeah, as a kind of constant
Modest and
reminder.
Proud, I
think,
did go there. I did go there.
I think that plays. Otherwise, if you have an alternative.
Yeah,
Sort
no, I mean, yeah, my modest is 15. That's not at the threshold where I have to roll on it yet, is it?
No, it's not, but it is close. And you could roll on... You could go for the
I'm
modest
gonna roll on
first if
modest
you
as,
want.
like, I'm trying really, 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 really hard to stay modest. Like, really hard.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
this is tough. Sim, could you not choose that particular cable? Thank you.
Meow.
She just... No, not for you. Hey!
Okay. Yeah,
What
that's
is a
success.
cable if not a spicy noodle for a cat?
That one's connected to my microphone, baby.
Yeah. So with a success there, how do you think that's been displayed? I guess able to kind of keep it under control, like you were saying?
I'm just, yep, locked in.
Yeah.
It's fine, I'm fine.
Yeah. You're doing, perfectly civil at events. You'd see her regularly. You would have now, with the feast behind you, you've all had sort of chances to have more like organic conversations. And so you would have found her to be a very, very pleasant conversationalist and I guess guest, since it's really kind of more your castle on the side. And you probably would have been on like a couple of walks where you've gotten the chance to speak to her, and do really see her as quite the opposite of any traits that Kenrick displayed. That said, you can also see that she
makes me feel worse.
yeah, she has this like ticking clock in her head, and as she's like, when you pause coming out of winter and see the grass beginning to break through the snow, she's watching all this happening, and although she doesn't voice any of it, you can see that she's probably thinking, how many more of these sort of springs do I have in this like state before I need to be like married off urgently, or before it's like I'm back and I'm effectively just trying to pull food together, or a lot of this like freedom is on the line. Someone to protect, to aid, and maybe you'll be able to set her on best path that she can find.
I've got my eyes on swivels for like good eligible bachelors.
Yeah, well, so Hervis was a possible contender till that flirting roll didn't go too well, and
then he hatched it.
He's now found possibly an alternative, as when he had his recent duel, it was done for where's her name, Lady, something with a G. Have I lost that?
Gale.
Thank you. It was done for Lady Gale's favor, and he was given it. So Alex wasn't here for the last session, but Tremor was present and has been serving in the castle some of the few nights that remained, while others have gone out to fulfill their duties across like wider Salisbury. And Tremor, you were present at the duel as well, watching them as they began to get ready, and you saw Gale grant her favor to Sir Hervis, tying a handkerchief around his sword. But when Sir Mobe was approached and warned that the Saxons were departing, and that on Lord Robert's orders he was to ride out, find an advantageous point and monitor their retreat and see that they do go at least to the forest and then further, you two were summoned by Sir Mobe in turn and rode out. We'll pick up with the two of you riding away. Now, Mobe, you succeeded your horsemanship roll. Tremor, I'll ask you to roll one in kind. And this is for you sort of getting to your horse and keeping pace away from the Saxons as they beat feet.
You are a very good horse rider, if I remember
extremely
correctly.
good. I'm a horse girl.
You are. Yeah, the two of you quickly move through the crowd, and your squires prepare your horses for you so that you can leave.
Sorry, can I ask a very silly administrative question?
Sure.
Alex, how do you say your character's name?
Triamos.
Triamos, thank you. Because in reading it, I was like, it looks like it says try more, which makes
Try
sense
more.
for someone who's just really keen to like do stuff.
Do
and
it
I did
harder.
think it might have been a pun, but Triamos makes more sense.
I
Thank
did
you.
pick it because it looked a little funny. That was why I picked it.
I know
looked a
you.
little
I
funny.
know you. I was like, maybe there's something. Maybe there
Yeah.
is.
Just trying a little hard.
Love it. Thank
Super.
you.
Suits well.
Maybe it's like try a more. Like try
Try more.
try love. Give love a chance.
No, we don't have time for love. We're busy.
No.
Yeah, so as Sir Mobe is assisted into his horse, and Pierre, Jim, your squire,
poor little Pierre.
helps you on, and then sends you racing away, close behind on a riding horse of his own. Dane Tremor, you are assisted to your horse by Pierce, your sort of
Buddy.
peer and now squire. How do you think that relationship has developed? What do you think? We've said that he has basically a year to prove himself before, probably becoming an esquire if he isn't able to become a household knight. How do you think this relationship's been able to kind of unfold?
I think it's going pretty well because the two of us, like, man, I was bad at so many things. And it was truly just through like grinding and luck that I was able to become a knight. So like, I get it. I get how close I was to not making it. So
Yeah.
I don't see him as less for it. And I think it's, I'm not trying to like tell him that, if he just worked a little harder, he'd magically become good at this stuff. No, I'm telling him that it's going to be tough and it's going to be a near thing, and he just has to like keep his eyes open for any opportunities to do the things that he is good at. And like, I think it's a very practical, supportive relationship.
Yeah. Focusing on the critical day-to-day components.
Yeah.
He is a year younger than each of you, which was kind of when we massaged this to work with the squirehood and him not getting knighted himself. So it's not unreasonable that he wasn't advanced to knight during that previous year, although Sir Hervis was. So it is like, there was an oversight made.
Yeah, and also like his personality, from what we've seen, is pretty, like, he's pretty anxious and insecure about his own abilities. So I think he's probably a bit worried about not making it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, a message that could have come from you and also some of the other knights is like, this is a time of war, and knights will be needed more now than ever. So if he can prove himself and if he does show merit, there is every opportunity for him to find a place here. It's just the household one's an extra step because it's the financial requirement from the Lord Robert. Beyond that, though, he's displayed absolute loyalty to you and an eagerness to prove himself that has been reflected into just very excellent squireship. You also have a relationship going into this already, so you work pretty well together. And you have found him he doesn't really buck at the like needing to defer to a former peer. He leans into it. So as you're being hoisted up onto this sort of huge, silky black charger.
His name's
He knows
Daffod.
he knows what you're capable of.
What you did to the last one.
You can also see me murder his bully.
Yeah.
Pierce, you dropped
So
my
there's
legs.
that.
I'm kidding.
Just playing. I'm just playing.
I feel we missed something. I missed something very important. Alex, what is your horse's name?
Daffod.
Stafford.
Daffod. D-A-F-F.
Daffod.
D-A-F-Y-Y-D.
Even
Sick.
If it was
Better.
sad,
Which is-
that would have had some
which is
additional
just-
connotations.
Which is just Welsh for David. You named your horse after the GM.
And that kind of sucking up will get you everywhere. Alex, you gained 10 glory.
But it also means like it's the Welsh masculine name that's like beloved, the loved one, which is hilarious because my horse
true.
is widely seen as kind of a dick.
Yeah, it is. Well, at least a scary one. Riddled with personality. So as Pierce helps you up onto this sort of silky black charger, you throw a cloak on over your sort of like hauberk and ride out feeling after Sir Moab, with your 2 squires hot on your tail. The 2 of you ride out through the castle's gates, through the town at large, and onto the fields where you've years of training long ago, and out towards a hill nearby which looks down on some of the surrounding hamlets. You can see Wilton, where you had your battle during the last year and where you bloodied your spurs, and then out across towards the large forest that dominates the east, and is where the Saxons originally rode through, this being the Melchet forest. A large and sort of twisted thorny maze, and the subject of much rumour that to the presence of fae and other creatures, but also, fine game, and should a hunt be hosted, this is where they will venture into. As the 2 of you have a sort of private moment to converse, your horses standing side by side, you begin to see the procession of Saxons leading. King Cerdic takes the fore and is flanked by a host of some half-dozen armored knights, and then yet more courtiers and sort of more basic soldiers. He has left behind because the 2 of you didn't see the duel unfold, you dipped. You'll notice that Sir Kinewolf, this giant of a knight, is not present in the entourage, and likely this bodes well for your own peers, and you do feel a sort of surge of triumph and admiration as you look down on these Saxons, definitely still holding their heads high and looking pretty pleased with themselves, but leaving under some sour terms.
Would that Purvis was here with his crossbow. They hold their heads so high.
An easy target, if ever there was. So I'd like an awareness roll from each of you to track their path and see their line.
No.
Okay. No success from...
I succeeded!
Ooh! Well done. Wow, Lady Jenna couldn't have chosen worse people for this task, but I guess you were the ones that were available. So
I think that possibly... because I also have fairly high horsemanship. I think that we are just really used to doing laps here, kind of because it got us away from other stuff that we were bad at.
People who won't be named because they're dead.
Exactly, but we just know the ground so well that we end up on the hill and we're kind of like, all right, yeah, well, actually, there's so many ways they can go.
Yeah, it's a trial of patience as much as anything else, because their passage, and from your vantage point, you will be able to see as the sun begins to set, and although it is spring, it's still quite cool in the evenings. You can see torches being lit, and the 2 of you sort of stand wrapped in blankets and trace this path and manage to distinguish the relatively ordered columns of the Saxons gathering together and, heading east, bound for the forest and the darkness underneath it. It's particularly appropriate, Sir Moab, that you are the one that follows their trajectory, because along this road, bound east, all through the forest and to a large branching river that winds through it, there is a fortification on the border of Salisbury known as Duplain. And nearby it is the Abbey of the Black Cross. And this, although Duplain was never your home, is the seat of your father and his family. And the Abbey of the Black Cross nearby is where you were taken in when you were born and secreted away. Raised for most of your life, not knowing your father, but seeing him regularly as he came and went and even occasionally attended services there. The path that the Saxons are taking will send them back beyond the fort and presumably further east, back towards their larger host armies and away. But it will probably be the way that they come again in the future, because this was not a resolved a truce or an agreement was not met. So likely, eventually, they will return.
And they're doing the equivalent of, crossing county lines, so to speak. They don't leave a bunch of campsites or anything. I just want to make sure that they're not hanging around in our backyard.
No, so that's exactly what you're sent here to monitor, and that's right. It does seem to be a complete departure. You do see them sort of reconvene with several other groups that were nearby. They had more troops than were present just here. People were stationed, camping in the foothills around some of the towns, and as they get towards the woods, which is distant from here, by the time they're all gathered together into a single group, there's certainly far more torches than departed Sarum. Not enough that this was probably ever under threat of siege, although, all things are possible. But certainly enough that they were well defended and in positions that if you had sent for reinforcements to come down and surprise the king, they had troops to hand that could respond accordingly and alert.
So they're probably going to be heading off, and they're probably going to be pretty pissed. And they're heading east, which is towards my father's territory. Okay. I mean, we're not pulling any shenanigans here, are we, Tremors?
No. What? Do you see how many of them there are? No.
Yeah, I figure we just head back.
There's valor and then there's stupidity.
Just so I can refer to it later.
We should probably notify the family living in that castle. However, if they're likely to come back this way.
Yeah, let's figure that out. Very quickly though, are they doing any kind of leaving a cart behind? I obviously don't know the outcome of the duel, but they're going to need a cart for Sir Kindwolf.
In the time that you wait, and this is this will take you into the night and through to the morning mostly. Yes, you do eventually see Sir Kindwolf depart after the others in a cart and horse with a smaller entourage of his own to escort him away, his own sort of squires attending to him. And he looks to be, quite gravely wounded, having been beaten to the point of unconsciousness in the recent duel. And certainly a success for your peers.
Yeah. I wonder if I was wondering if there's any play where we could try and get him on side, but I don't think there is. We just should probably head back.
Okay. Two of you return in the morning and deliver the news. And on your return, you will find that, Sir Boris and Sir Hervis's triumph here in this duel has really it's lit a fire. It's been 2 long weeks of the Saxons kind of taking the piss at your civility and pushing at every edge they could find, taking advantage of it, disrespecting, towing the line. And when they finally went so far as to fully step over it, they were met with knightly steel and justly repelled. And so their departure, although it is candidly not a defeat, but not a successful negotiation, as you will learn from Lord Robert in the following days, is seen as a triumph by the common folk and by the other sort of knights and members of the court, because they were sent away on these terms. The two of you are being celebrated. We're gonna sort of move forward a little bit through the next few days and weeks to see what comes, but is there anything that the 4 of you would like to sort of work on in this period? As I said, you will learn that no terms were reached between Lord Robert and King Cerdic, so there is the concern of war, that the Saxons will continue. They've made it pretty clear that their aim is to become king of the sort of entire area. So preparations will be made, people will need to be rallied, you will be sent out on patrols, there'll be much work to be done, but there is always time for other activities. So if someone wanted to compose a poem, now would be the time to do it.
I was thinking that, call yourselves the Giant Slayers or something.
Yeah, change that Son of Pharamond out. There's a Morrisano. We're a lot of sun talk. Yeah, is there anything that anyone would like to be doing, or just setting to your duties?
You know, there may have been a quest seed sprinkled in during the feast last year. Something about a magic shield.
Oh, yeah, you thinking magic
that
shield
Merlin
time?
had been talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the next kind
Merlin,
of link in my
Merlin, your
chain
mate.
here.
Your
Your mate, your pal.
Exactly right.
You're
My
like
dad
Merlin.
knows him. I don't know if anyone knows this,
does.
but my dad went on a few quests for Merlin, so you know, he's practically my godfather.
Yeah.
I would like to research. I don't have library use,
No,
but
sure.
whatever will get me a magic shield would be great.
Yeah, I'll probably need you to suggest a skill here, because like you said, there
Can I
isn't
make a
just
suggestion?
Is this like an open literacy thing? Yeah. No, sorry.
I was gonna say, like, because we don't have literacy, so the concept of researching is not possible for us. But you get in good with like your monks or your priests, and you go, "Hey, fam, I know you've got some records and you good at reading and stuff. Could you maybe open your scrolls of infinite wisdom and let me know if there are any tales? Or if not the priests, then I'm guessing we have bards at this point in history."
This is why we need Pierre. Pierre, Libre, Legere Libre. See? Come on.
Excellent. Pierre can read.
Pierre could not necessarily. That'll.
I mean, I feel like
He has to.
you could do like a courtesy roll to see if you can like get people to help you. You could do a
I was
religion
going to say
roll.
intrigue is
There's a
like
couple.
sneaking around and getting information. I'm hoping.
Yeah. So you've got
Like,
a couple. You've got a couple of.
That's
paths
sneaky. You don't need to be sneaky. You could just be like, I'm a knight. I want to know about the shield. Tell me stuff.
As always, I'm still part of this learning this game where I need to look up what the skill do.
Yeah. So Aki Stefan has suggested folklore in chat, which seems remarkably appropriate.
Yeah.
In reading the skill set for folklore, it does seem to be pretty tied to like knowledge of culture, laws, and customs of the common class. But I would parlay that across to like, you know, the learnings of basic stories that are being told about it. The other one would be your religion skill, might get you through the ministry, the church and abroad. Intrigue would work as well, but there's actually kind of less. There's no
I
feast
don't
being
think intrigue
held.
makes sense. I changed my mind.
Yeah, I will say that you are riding out during this period, so this is going to encompass a few sort of weeks, months, who knows how much time. This is just something that you're working on. So kind of any role here, that's just what you're doing. Like as you ride out through different churches and things, you're speaking with them and trying to find out more about this shield.
Intrigue is the skill of learning a secret by knowing who, when, what, where, and how to ask.
I
But
think
I'm happy to roll folklore if that's
No,
better.
I think it's the different methods. Are you going through the common people and trying to see what they have said, or are you going through intrigue and trying to find out specifically hidden things? And this might just point you towards where you can get that information. But yeah, that plays. Is this something that you're sharing with your fellow knights?
Oh yeah, I would not be quiet about anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to get my name out there. I need to like. This is the equivalent of me like posting on LinkedIn every week, saying, you know,
This is what it taught me about sales.
this is what I learned about researching magic shields this week. You know, I need to keep my name in people's minds.
Yeah.
A woman gave me her favor, and that's what it taught me about finding a magic shield.
Yeah.
As has been suggested in chat, are you impassioned by anything for this?
It's a good question.
Homage, Lord, we find it for the Lord.
Well, that probably means you have to give it to him if you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Genuinely.
probably would. I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
Could say hate Saxons.
That's-
It's not directly related.
This feels a little bit more. Well, look into your heart, Sir Hervis. Let's say there's a heroic shield out there. Feels
Yeah.
to be cool like you had it, right? More than the
I'm really
Saxons.
just,
It's really more like
looking for something to pair my magic sword with.
yeah.
I mean, theoretically, there's an argument. Hang on. There's maybe an argument that honor could be involved, because like doing a quest is a kind of like a knightly deed. The other one, I'm not sure if station would count insofar as like
Station's like doing what's expected of you, right?
yeah, so maybe if people expect knights to, but like the idea of being like honor.
I'm struggling to find a passion here. I think
They
I'm doing
don't
it
need to
just
apply.
my
This
own
can just
interests.
be. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Okay. If you want to go ahead and give me an intrigue roll.
Oh, not intriguing enough.
Okay. You try to ask around as you're moving through. I mean, others heard the rumor that Merlin directly told King Nanteliod to seek the Adventurous Shield, it was called, before his battle. And then, following, he fell, obviously. It's kind of been... There's some that say, like, this was a mistake, that's kind of rude to talk shit about your king after he's already kicked it. And others that say, should have been sought out, or perhaps still should. Generally, it's, and this is kind of the failure coming in. Generally, it's kind of just said like, well, we don't really have like much of a foothold on it. Merlin may have told King Anteliod something specific, but it doesn't have more detail to put to it. So there's nowhere to really start seeking it ourselves. To do that, you'd probably need to speak to Merlin first. And Merlin, of late, has been almost wholly absent. And very little known of his movements. In the chance encounters you have with other knights and people on the road, this is not remarkable. It's only been a year or so, but yes, seems to be has some undertaking of his own that he's been set to.
Excellent. All right, let's kick that quest seed down till the next time I remember it.
That's it. Okay. Mobe.
I've got an angle, yes. So being asked to ride out, explore and things like that, I think we were caught a little flat-footed. We kind of don't have that skill set so much, or at least I don't. And I think that given that we're likely going to be heading towards my my old dad's place,
Yep.
I think that Mobe has kept a little bit throughout his upbringing of like, obviously it's sort of a point that he's mocked for, but he feels a little bit of pride occasionally in being from a little bit of a different background, a little bit of a sort of like more common station.
Yeah.
And then sort of asked to go out into the woods, he just managed to luck through it, and you sort of realize that he doesn't have the skill to back all that. I'd like to propose hunting. And what the idea, I think that's the skill that we decided it would kind of come under. And I think the idea is that I'm trying to get like a little bit survivally on the way, doing a bit more like scouting the forests, doing a bit more like let's just camp on the road tonight. It's going to be totally fine. And I would like to be impassioned by my hate dad, because I it's not very high, but I just think that the story for it is too good.
Yeah. Okay. So for the impassioned, are you doing this to prove something to? Because actually, I can tie this together actually. So in the coming weeks, it will be. And as you're going about these tasks, Lord Robert will take the four of you and others and say that we are going to Duplain. We're going to base out of there for a small period. It is on the edge. It's on the border, and it's where the Saxons, should they arrive, will most likely come from. And from there, we'll be able to see their arrival and react accordingly. He also wants to go there because he wants to meet with your father and re-secure those relations. You have been raised recently, acknowledged first and now knighted by Lord Robert. And because you have been acknowledged, it kind of has to be an honor for him that you're there. So he's kind of, you don't want to say you're a pawn, but you're definitely a piece that's being moved a little bit. So you are going to be going out there soon.
I think that Mobe had sort of definitely out of the player had just accepted it as like, oh, we're going to be heading there, as soon as the thing was dropped. So that makes sense to me, and I think that I'm trying to sort of establish some kind of independence. I've like twisted a way that I can plug what was genuinely a strategic hole in our capacity as a unit of household knights into like a weird sort of very solitary, time-consuming, and spiteful activity.
Yep. So when you say hunting, is this just you basically practicing and being across it, or are you going into it trying to like scout and see if they come by that way? Or just
I think that at this point I'm not actually trying to do scouting. I think that normally what I do in my head is I'm like, oh, they would have been camped throughout the woods because we saw all those torches. I'm gonna find where they camped, and I set that as a goal for myself, and I ride off into the woods with poor Pierre behind me on a donkey, and we like try and find all the remnants of campsites, and it's just getting familiar with the world.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead. So you can apply your passion.
Hell yeah.
And that also
Failing on the passion.
So now we see if you're miserable about it. Sorry, go ahead and roll your roll the hunting roll, because that will determine the likeliness of misery.
Success.
Okay, well done. All right, I'm gonna remind myself briefly of how we did a real run of being miserable about passions and kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, rolling on a passion of 4 is that I was tempting fate.
So you did not fail your task, so there's no modifier. Yeah, can you go ahead and roll? So I think let's remind myself. I believe you now roll the hate old dad passion again, and if it succeeds, actually, is where you are at
Where
risk.
you're in the shit.
Yeah.
Wow. What are the chances?
About
I don't
120?
think passions work
Higher
well
than what
for
we're
us.
used to.
Okay,
roll on
this
passion.
is actually really fun, and I'm very, very excited for this. There is a whole table about being lost in the woods. Like, a lot of it. It is a very particular thing that
Jim.
happens.
It's
so,
like that's like a very common thing in a lot of the stories, isn't it? Every now and then you just
Yeah.
go mad and wander around the woods for 10 years.
I love it, yeah.
Enjoy.
Oh dear.
I
the
think
chances on that, I was like, there's no way I'll succeed. So it, yeah.
So, I think we might not see Sir Mobe for a minute. So Mobe, you are staying here for a while. You learn that you're bound for Duplain under your lord's direct orders. You're right out there, and amongst his court, you will treat again with your father, a man that you have not met with directly since he acknowledged you, and you were handed over into, well, at the time, Lady Jenna's care, to be trained and raised up so that there is someone that can maintain Duplain and keep it within the family. The thought of returning to that person that cast you aside and then only drew you back when it was strategically important to them, worms into your brain and invades your thoughts day and night. That's all you can think. And heading out into the woods and pushing a little deeper every time, you try to find some connection between yourself and your father. Duplain is in the heart of these great and dark woods between two forests, and your father, for all his flaws, of which you know them well, is a famous hunter, a great hunter, and his halls are decked with the trophies of those that he has taken, and Duplain itself, even before he held it, was a hunting site where many great, expeditions were done out and into the woods, and feasts were held. You push yourself further and further each time, and one evening, when the rest of you are sort of regathering, Sir Mobe does not return. And the next
potentially
day,
the idea of Pierre popping back up with like a perdu, like potentially
vanished. And the following day, as preparations are being made to depart, Sir Moab does not return. And
He'll be fine.
as the day comes, you actually see Lord Robert need to make the call. And he says, we'll leave word here. So Moab returns, have him make for Duplain at once. And in his, tone, you can tell that Sir Moab's in trouble. He's basically vanished. And then he says, but we must depart. We will do this, the three of us then. And so Leo will accompany as champion. And also, Sir Leo, that was your former knight as well. He knew something of your, fraught relationship with your father.
Yeah, we established that the reason he perhaps took me was because he owed a debt to my father, who we've been name agnostic. I thought Jacob would be a standard.
Perfect. I was going to ask for a name at one point, actually. So Jacob. And without Moab, the three of you ride out, bound for Duplain. We'll zoom backwards slightly and touch in with Sir Boris and Dame Triamore for what the two of you would like to accomplish in this intervening period. And I'm going to finish reading the madness subheading as we do.
I've been flicking through the I've been trying to find out what happens when you fail passion, and I was like, oh no.
Felita says, I like the second paragraph just reads, a Madden character is out of the game. You're like, oh, cool, all right.
It does specifically say something about doing a madness solo adventure or solo thing.
Yep. During this time, the player must run. Yeah, and that was the ones I was looking through earlier. There's a whole thing for Lost in the Forest. It's absolutely a thing that happens.
A bad thing to be lost in the forest with five.
GG's though, Sir Mo, but you're going to
how consequential this role is.
You're going to gain some glory.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was looking at it, being like, if you're only mad for a little bit, you get a bit of glory. If you're mad for like a whole year, you get a decent amount of glory. Yeah. Which is wild.
I ran away.
Brave. All right. Sir Boris and Dame Triamore, what would the two of you like to get up to?
I've got my oath. I've got my homage lady. I think I'm just gonna go like bachelor fishing. Gonna basically try and set her up with something.
Okay, yeah. Ask her out.
I'm gonna go to a bunch of heckin' parties if I can with her and just like talk her up to people and just like start. Like, I don't have intrigue. This is not gonna go. Just prefacing with.
How's your flirting?
I don't expect this to go well. Oh no.
No?
Intrigue.
Courtesy?
No. Flirting. No. I don't have any of this shit.
Courtesy. Courtesy plays, actually.
You know
okay.
what? I've got my talk, which gives me extra courtesy in the fairy court, but I don't think she'd appreciate that.
No, that's a real out of the pan into the fire sort of situation.
Yeah.
I think courtesy plays. I also think if you wanted to apply a passion, if we want to go 2 for 2 on the madness tracker,
hell yeah.
Honor.
Why not?
Honor,
well,
absolutely.
I've got my homage lady passion that I opened.
Yeah. Also either homage lady or your honor passion, because this is about your.
It is about my honor.
It is actually. It's kind of how you. I think at this point, Jerome, it's how you're approaching it. Is this because something you are honor beholden to fulfill, or is it because you have a sense of duty? You are, you've sworn an oath to Lady Estrenor.
I think the honor comes into it when I'm making the choice of whether to spend my time on this or whether to do something else. I think whenever I reach a crossroads of I could do this that will further Lady Estrenor and be good for her, or I could do this that would be good for me, I think that's when honor comes into it. I think when I'm actually trying to do stuff that is in pursuit of my oath to her, it's homage lady.
Yeah. Okay. That plays. All right. If you want to invoke the passion too, you don't need to. It's not famous, so you can just be kind of going through the motions if you want.
Not good at any of the motions, but hey, it's worth a shot. Courtesy, maybe?
Okay. So do you want to invoke your homage and then roll for your courtesy.
I don't know if I want to invoke the passion.
Okay, you can just do courtesy. That's fine. It's not it's not famous. It's not required. You can just
I think
feelers out.
invoking the passion is more going to come up when there is a really clear opportunity. So like if we are at a party and we are introduced to an eligible bachelor, that's when I'd probably go all in and invoke the passion.
Yeah.
But if I'm just kind of, I have the time and what I'm choosing to spend my time on is this.
Yep, totally plays. Okay. Go ahead and just go for a straight courtesy roll then. This is more just getting a sense of like who might be, who's in the court.
No. Okay. No idea.
I
am not a good conversationalist. People find me off-putting.
Unnerving. This is also, at the moment, as people are preparing for battle, and it's very practical, there are far fewer feasts being held. And a lot of the ones where you are in attendance, you're actually doing so as an emissary of Lord Robert to kind of just touch base and make sure everyone's vibes are good and that relations are solid. So you just kind of don't really get the opportunity to bring this up and push for it. One thing just for you kind of keep in the back of your mind is that where you have the most connections are in Summerland. With your mother and the other people there. So if it ever came down to it, you could always send word back that way and see if someone might be interesting. It would also be a kind of marriage of tighten that alliance up a little bit. It's not like a 1-for-1. These are like adjacencies. This isn't royal lineage or anything, but it gets people a little bit closer and possibly keeps that tighter.
Exactly. She knows to, but also Lady Estranor knows to keep in touch with me, and I would rather find her someone exceptional that, sets her up and her lineage up for life, kind of, rather than... But I'm glad I've got something in the back pocket, but it is in the back pocket. It's not bad by any means. It's not a concession, but if we've got time, see what I can do. I'll see what I can figure out.
Yeah, it's back fun. You can keep working on that on the side.
In the back of my mind that I do have that golden talk that I can return to the king.
Mm-hmm.
In exchange for a favor, and that favor could very well be make sure this lady is...
Oh, absolutely. That would 1-for-1. Yeah, easy. Okay. So Boris, is there something you want to get up to in this intervening period?
Sorry, I forgot that was my name. Which I feel happens not infrequently to Boris himself. I mean, Boris is not the smartest of gentlemen and very enthusiastic about the things he's told to do. So I think what makes the most sense for Boris is that he just throws himself into preparations and training and making sure that the everything is from the side of the knightly stuff. Yep. That he is ready, that his squire is ready, that the other knights are ready, that their squires are ready, that everyone has had adequate training and preparation. But in the kind of... He's not a bean counter, so it's more probably sparring with people or making sure that the squires have polished all of the important bits and that they're packed down. He mostly just goes around and asks people, so is it packed down correctly? Have you made sure that you have attended to your lord's needs? Good, and then just wanders off.
Yeah, no, 100%. Overseeing the squires and probably working quite a lot with Dame Aspara, who is the marshal and likes to keep an eye on the next wave of knights coming through.
Dame Aspara is very honourable. I like her a lot.
Exactly. And
I don't think she likes Boris. I think she finds him endearing.
I don't know. She trained you. You would have been one of the ones that went up through her. And she certainly has a fondness for all of the squires that she helped to tutor. And I think your display with, again, Sir Kindwolf, working with Sir Hervis, acting honorably, and doing the battle in the name of knightly glory, or knightly honor was kind of your pitch for it, I think very much puts you in her good books. And now continuing that and overseeing the training of others further cements it. I might actually ask you to make a squire roll, Sir Boris, to see how your own squire goes through this, and kind of extend that to the direction of others as you set yourself to this task.
Standard skill or knightly skill?
Standard skill, and you can actually add +5 to this.
Okay.
And that is because not only are you doing so with Dame Aspara's direction, but also because all the squires are very impressed by the duel. This is like awesome. That was cool as hell, and they want to talk to you about it, and they, you know, they look up to you, and they very much want to take direction.
Hell yeah. Boris is going to become like dad, but like stupid dad. Like, I love all of my little children and they are gonna go off to war and become amazing. Yeah, no. Not like, oh no, you skinned your knee. Like, go and skin your knee, climb trees, do stupid things. All right.
Get amongst it.
Success.
Okay, yeah. And is that, no, you actually would have been a crit without the +5, so I'm sorry about that.
Oh, what I mean? How does that work then?
Well, if it was an 18, it would have been a +5. It's same chance, just different numbers.
Yeah.
You oversee a number of the squires and help to prepare everything for the forthcoming journey, overseeing training and keeping things well stocked. Amongst them, you can see that many are nervous for the events to come, but the general impression, as they are knights to be, is that here is a fine opportunity where we will prove ourselves to our peers and to our lord. And this will apply to yourself, to your squire, to Pierce, and all the others. There is plenty of opportunity here to go above and beyond. This is a forthcoming battle and war where your own lord is junior, yes, but has made it clear that he is open to suggestions and questions when they are presented respectfully, and already has taken insight from others. Perhaps any one of them could prove themselves, or perhaps they could have the idea that turns this, you know, to some seeming unstoppable invading force on their heels.
I think if there are any that are particularly nervous, and like, especially for anyone aspiring to be a knight, cowardice is dishonorable. And so I think, like, as we said sort of last week, Boris was probably quite a relatively scrawny child that then became quite large quite quickly, so has had the experience of sort of being picked on and not had, you know, has chosen to look after the little people as opposed to lean into the like, well, I used to be bullied, so now I'm going to be the bully kind of thing. So if there is any of the squires that are looking particularly like sort of conflicted by like, I am scared, but also I really shouldn't be in order to be a knight, I think Boris will sort of like get down a little bit and sort of like, actually no, he would, because that would be no, he'd stand full height but look at them as sort of like equals almost, and just sort of say, our young man, woman, whoever he's talking to,
Squire.
Young squire, it's not that we don't feel fear. The true measure of a knight is that you are afraid and you do it anyway. Bravery is not an absence of fear. If you do not feel fear, then there is nothing to overcome. It is the overcoming of our fear that makes us honorable. And sort of like leans into that, like, it's fine to be afraid. That's normal. The true test of a knight is that you feel it and you do it anyway, because that is the honorable and, in this, right thing to do.
But you weren't afraid when you fought Sir Kindwolf.
I put trust in God, in my fellow knight, and in the training that I have been given by our incredible bladesmith and training master, there was trepidation. The man was very large, and while I am also rather large, I understand that there will be people that I meet in the world, other knights, things that are outside of what I am capable of in that moment. But the test is that you never know what you can do until you do it. I may feel the same roiling in the belly that you all do, and you call it fear. I have learnt to call it excitement, because I am excited to find out what will happen when I test myself against this new foe.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they take it to heart. They can't wait to be tested, and they see all that will come as an opportunity to prove themselves.
I think Boris does have a tiny bit of like, I'm going to keep an eye on the ones that are particularly enthusiastic because I want them to continue to be enthusiastic, and if necessary, I will come and bop someone on the head to make sure that they can continue to be enthusiastic, because that's important.
It's the value that I hold. It's a knightly virtue.
I think it's possibly the first time that Boris has like said something and seen a bunch of like young squires be like, oh, I'm gonna kill someone, and he's like, oh, that seems
dangerous.
There are too many thoughts going at once. I will come back to this later.
Shutting down.
Just 404 error.
Yep. Hell yeah. So this it's several weeks and actually approaches a full month that you spend preparing and then finally riding out for Duplain. At the time of leaving, Sir Mobe has been absent for some 2 days, and you'll be on the road for a couple days before you arrive at Duplain. In your entourage, there are you 3 knights, along with your squires, Sir Leo, one of the older knights, Sir Mobe's former knight, and the champion of Count Salisbury is in your attendance, along with his present squire, and Lord Robert himself is coming with you, along with a host of some sort of, dozen courtiers and attendants. Lady Jenna is not attending, nor are any of her attendants. They are going to remain in Sarum to continue to sort of oversee things, especially with Lord Robert's mother, and they will be hosting some other parties, and I mean Peterball by then, not like rages, to continue discussions. Your intent here is to secure relationships with Sir Jacob, and to basically check the border and make sure that things are well here. The 3 of you haven't been out here before. You would have ridden like some small things, but the forests are pretty dangerous. And as you ride out, following the same path that the Saxons took, as soon as you go underneath the trees, the world sort of contorts into a reflection of itself. The road is dappled in spring light and beautiful green colors, and birds twitter in the branches, and you occasionally see fat red squirrels eating the last acorns that they'd hidden away. When you camp for the night and you turn off the road a little ways and down into the forest itself, it has a rather different feeling. There is a sense of being watched nigh constantly, and the hoots of owls from within sound all too familiar, almost human. When you return to the path in the morning, it's as if you're stepping back into the world you know. It's like there's this stream of light that moves through the forest, place of certainty and control. If you leave that path, you very well may be lost. I might actually ask all three of you to make awareness rolls as you go through this, and you're all going to have -5 to it. And yeah, well, I'll explain why if anyone succeeds.
David? David, my awareness is
David?
5.
Yeah,
My awareness
0.
is also 5.
Oh, no one rolled it. Okay, you all don't see shit. Actually,
I mean,
no, don't roll. This isn't
inspired
a
by a
risk of like. I'm not fishing for too much. Yeah, there is no sign of Sir Mobe. You were talking about your plans with one another, like Sir Hervis, you mentioned the adventuring shield, and Sir Mobe mentioned at least that his intention was to go and, explore the woods somewhat and begin to get a bit more familiar with it. This would be a place that all of you would need to visit more and more frequently throughout your careers. There's nothing though. It's truly as if he, like as you ride down, you speak to some of the villagers, like people say, yeah, we saw him go through, we recognize his crest. It's as if he got to the edge of this world, stepped through, and vanished into another. There's not a broken stick. There's not a left note. There's just nothing. In fact, his squire, who has remained behind, or would he have gone with you?
If I can jump in, I have a suggestion quickly. Yeah. I was looking at the various bits and bobs for the mechanics of this, and there's all of the sort of so I'm going to be mad for a fairly short time.
Don't go too far over. I want to.
Fair enough.
Play it out.
I was going to say there's a madness or a lost in the woods table basically. And I was thinking that the madness, if I end up on the madness one rather than the lost in the woods, that could be a much more of a reason that my squire stays behind. Also, if I do end up getting, like, I strip off all my armor and throw it away, Pierre could helpfully pick it all up for me.
Yeah, no, it's you're going to remain with your equipment is not found at least. No, yours is because you were very specifically, it was while you were adventuring into the woods, and would you believe it? This chapter, this adventure has woods content. So I'm
perfect, then.
Filled to the gills with horrible, horrible things. So yeah, your squire rode down with you to the nearby village, helped you to change into lighter equipment because like going through the woods in full mail and everything just isn't feasible. And kept your horse as well. Then you kind of stepped through and he did not see you again. When he ultimately rode back, he said there was just no sign of him, and all of you see that coming here. It's as if he just stepped through, broke through one reality and into another. Nothing left behind.
Love it.
Well,
I'm sure everything will be just fine. I'm slightly more trusting than suspicious, so I'm leaning on things will be well, probably.
She'll be right.
ooh, that's a good idea.
Is this a good time to introduce all of our horses, Dave? Now
yeah,
that we're riding on them,
we can do some horse updates.
I mean, the only reason that I think I said this after stream last time. So Cerberus has a normal charger, which means that he is on a horse that is comically small for this man. However, the horse is strong. It is a dun horse, which according to our little table means a bit of a mongrel, bit of everything. Not particularly well regarded as a horse, but a working horse. Boris has named his horse Nougat because he thinks that's the French word for nugget. Because his horse is a little nugget. And probably the thing you would notice most is that Sir Boris not only has himself and some things that he requires to hand on his horse, but our squires would also be riding horses. There is a couple of bags, pannier bags, I guess. I don't know what they're called for horses. Saddlebags. The squire, my squire has, that's beyond what a few of the other knights has. And that's because about every 15 to 30 minutes, my squire reaches into that bag, pulls out an apple, yeets it over to Boris, who catches it and feeds it to his horse, because otherwise the horse will just stop randomly and try and eat whatever is to hand.
Quite literally a
the
carrot.
personality that I rolled was this horse will eat at every opportunity, even if it's inappropriate. So at this point, like, Boris doesn't have isn't like annoyed by it. They've just, between him and his squire, have developed a methodology of ensuring that this horse goes in the direction it needs to go for the length of time it needs to do that.
Yeah, and
So
Boris,
it just
Boris
occasionally-
is a big lad, right? Boris is a big lad, so like,
Yeah.
Boris is not even, it's not even that he's annoyed by it, maybe he does the same thing.
Oh yeah, bite for me out of the apple, then feed the rest of the horse. 100%. Bite for me, some for the horse.
For you.
But you know, it's fruit. It's not. People might look at Boris a bit weird for eating what is essentially like animal feed, because I don't know that fruit was a huge thing in the medieval period. But I think he started doing it like as a squire because he got hungry and just kind of kept doing it and doesn't really care, and no one who knows him pays all that much attention to it. It's not. He's a simple fellow.
Yeah.
So.
It's straightforward.
But yes, my horse's name is Nuga.
Perfect. And Sir Hervis, what's in your horse?
I have a chestnut horse charger with a destructive personality, and he does not have a name yet.
His horse.
Muncher. He's always chewing on his reins, and I have to keep buying him new reins.
Yep, just works
That's
his
all
way
I
through the
got.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that works.
literally chomping on the bit.
Right.
And apparently, I have another 3 horses. Is that standard, or did I roll?
Yeah, it
particularly
is.
well?
So, no. You all get you actually don't. Here's the thing: the chargers are the ones that we got all the personality for. Technically, actually, normally ride your other horses. I think you ride your. How many horses do you have? You ride like the.
You have 4
Rouncy.
horses.
Yeah.
I have 2 riding horses.
Yeah, I think.
Your charger is for like charging shit. You know?
Charging.
Here's the thing. I feel like describing 3 horses and giving them personality is a touch too far. So
No, there's
let's just
Dave.
put
It's
it on.
4. It's 4. You have 1 charge. I looked this up because
Yeah, the other one just carries your shit though.
Yeah.
One charger, 2 rouncies, 1 for yourself and 1 for your squire, and then a sumpter, which is a pack horse.
Yeah. So in that case, then so you ride the riding horse. The charger comes along with. The riding horses are
same deal.
devoid
Still
of
feeding it apples.
personality. You'd kit these ones out for the hard stuff. I imagine they're just less, or they need to be looked after. You don't want them to break an ankle. I don't really know. I'm not a. The only
Mark
horse
is
information I got was
more-
from reading this.
Archie has
they're more
confirmed.
runners, more marathons rather than sprinters.
Yeah, that tracks. Bit lighter. So yeah, you probably would be on your riding horses. I guess you'd probably bring your charger with you though, like because it can be stabled here. They have stables and everything, so you'll be prepared for it. But yeah, regardless, those are the primary ones, the ones that we'll see the most of. Perfect. So yeah, after a few days of travel and as the month draws to a close, you arrive at Duplain. It's really more of a like a fort than a castle itself. A lot of wood. There is a moat that surrounds it and a drawbridge that can be dropped down. There are some like villagers and common folk that encircle the area, and they can retreat inside the walls if necessary. But it's certainly a far sight humbler than Sarum. I don't know why I said it that way, because it is still pretty significant. Like, it's just that it's relative, I guess, which is not a helpful comparison. It's a castle, just of less significance. As you ride up towards it, you will see the flags and banners flying of Sir Jacob, which is the same symbol as Sir Mobe, except his has been changed slightly to denote that it is he has not inherited it just yet. Jim, up to you what the change is. If you want the one that you have to be the long-running one, or if his one is a slightly different color or something, and you will get that one when you inherit.
How about
if you get out of the woods?
They just take the fleury sections off the cross, because that makes sense.
Oh yeah, cool.
Or the
Yeah.
cross goes black because it's next to the Black Cross Abbey.
Oh, it's an inversion. You could do that. So it's going to be a black cross on a white field later on. Would be cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
that worked great too.
So you can see.
It have to be. Yeah, you have to be opposite color and metals though. So if it's a white field There's no black
it'd be
metal.
Or just the
Argent.
No,
colours.
black is color. You're fine. So gold and silver, or white and yellow, are the metal colors. You
Oh, so
have
white's a metal. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
white and so argent and ore are both metals, and the remaining 5 colors are colors. And you can't put a metal on a color. Sorry, you can't put a metal on a metal and a color on a color. So you have to like flip them, which is why when you're doing stacking in our little table, it was like if you have a color, roll essentially a d2 to work out which of the 2
Yeah,
metals you
yeah.
get. And
So
then
can you
there's
have a
something
silver
about
field?
furs, and I don't want to deal with that.
You have a silver field?
I believe so, yeah. I don't think
Right,
there's
so it'd be a silver
anything-
field and a black cross.
Yeah.
I guess.
So you can see a number of these banners laid out.
It's the same word for both white and silver. It's argent either way, so it's whether or not it's metal or color. What do they call it? Chromatic.
Well, there's discourse in chat. The heraldry is complicated.
Yeah, I lost a day to it.
Lost in the woods, rolling the madness table. Yeah, you can see these banners unfurled, and you will be received by some of Sir Jacob's, not knights, but soldiers, men-at-arms that ride out to meet you and escort you. They probably would have come out like about halfway, actually, or some way through the woods and ridden with you for the tail end of it. Just in speaking with the other men and everything, you like talk a bit like there's patrols going out, people are handling it. But the presence of several more knights that can ride along with them will be greatly appreciated. And each of them are thrilled to be in the presence of Lord Robert, who they have not gotten the opportunity to meet yet. Last time they saw him was when he was quite young, and he rode through to Duplain. You are received by Sir Jacob and his wife, who also has 2 young girls along with her, who share some of Sir Mobe's coloring. Like there's his darker. What kind of hair color did you have, Jim? For Sir Mobe?
I
was picturing
think
sort of
that I
darker.
had just said that I said that I was a little more I said I was a little more Nordic actually, because
Yeah.
of the Saxon side. So probably they don't share my coloring, perhaps, but
Yeah.
features.
It's-
Perhaps,
yeah, there may be some features, because actually that works. If we do the like fair-haired dad, fair-hair Saxon, and then this mum's got darker hair and that killed that gene on this path, that pretty clearly marks you as a bastard.
Yeah,
Mum was a Saxon?
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
yeah.
That's spicy.
I think that was the story. Although I don't think that Mobe knows much about his mum, really. So.
That's it. He said just that you were half when you mentioned to
Yes,
the others.
yeah.
Well, it possibly hasn't been related so much to your peers though. But yeah, you would see in this then some of the similar features. These are the most half siblings, but yeah, the hair is markedly different, as each of them have straight black hair like their mother. Sir Jacob is a larger man, grown somewhat fat in his later years, and prone to drink, which he very much appreciates, and a teller of great stories, particularly related to hunting and his endeavors. And as you are greeted and hosted for the first night of eating, you can see that though his great hall is much smaller than that in Sarum and, a bit more modest, the trophies here, quite remarkable. And you can identify most of the beasts, but there's a few that are quite odd. There's a couple that you're like, I don't know what that thing is. And he will tell you of some strange thing that he had heard was roaming the forests, and that with his attendants and when a hunt was hosted, they rode out for, and each one is this incredible story that talked about days and days of tracking and finding this thing in a cave and finally bringing it to bear. They're all like, there's not enough of it left to have like the whole thing, so you can be like, that's a dragon, but it's just a weird looking monster thing. Most of them are just like big stags and stuff though, which is very good and very nice. You would have also seen the abbey in the distance when you arrived.
In the world that we're playing in, a dragon is like a legit thing that could be fought, and it isn't just someone's gone and got a bunch of kind of like a monitor lizard and gone, if I stick horns on it, it looks cool.
I'll tell you what, you haven't seen any. But people have claims that dude you fought looked like he was half giant.
Okay.
Like, he was massive, and you have heard, it's a bit like they're the old folk, like, these people, should they exist, which they do, like, you would all probably generally believe that there is stuff out there that's happening. You don't know which ones are how much, but, like, definitely those woods are weird, and you wouldn't want to go in there too much. But yeah, like, giants and things seem reasonable. Dragons themselves, it's less like smog, like, flying around hoarding treasure, and more like a thing that you might find if you know, journey to the strange places. Like Dame Tremor, for example, your mother famously slew a giant. Is that right?
Yeah, they're real. If giants are real, what else could be real?
Yeah.
It's like they're real, but they're not ordinary, is the impression I'm getting.
That's right. And perhaps some of them we would just, like, you know, now identify as a true thing. But yes, there is some semblance of magic and strangeness in this world. Yeah. So
If it's a debate we're having, like, in real time when we're looking at these things and people are like, this is scary, like, my talk, the thing on my head, makes me better with fairies. It's real. This is real.
Genuinely,
I'm probably
yeah.
a little bit over enthusiastic about, like, I'm fully all in on the fairy.
Oh, yeah, no, I fully have-
like 100%. It's all real. All of it's real.
I have like, oh, man, I should have known this when fighting the guy. I have a knife and spoon set made from the bones of a giant. I could have just been like, one of yours?
check this out, guy. He's got your sword and I've got your your uncle's knees.
I've got your uncle.
And I use it to carve my turkey.
Get stuffed.
Yeah, no. Okay, so yeah.
The
sorry, I'm just-
disrespect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So, first night that you are hosted, he asks, wheresoever is Sir Mobe? And Lord Robert says he will be in attendance shortly. He's been dispatched on some scouting and will make his way here soon as he can. He words a little more cleverly than I perhaps can, in one of those ways that you're like, not technically a lie, but really treading there, Rob. As he basically like really doubles down a like, Mo better be here soon. We're buying time for him. And because Sir Mobe's not here, it kind of falls to the three of you to do a little bit more of the easing. You're going to be here for a little while. Plan is like a couple weeks or so. Do some scouting and build some relations. What I'd kind of like to open with first, though, is actually a glory roll to see if he has heard of any of you, or perhaps your kin. So I believe
No, there was a glory roll.
I believe it is your glory divided by like 4,000 or something. What is your glory? And we'll see if we can determine it from that. It's not 4,000. I think it might be 1,000.
1,000 makes more sense. What is my glory?
I've actually been
It is
keeping track.
2,432.
2,183.
I think
Thanks,
it's-
Mom.
Oh yeah, here we go. Do you know who I am? 5,000 is like the really high ones. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think it's 1,000. So you are reasonably low, which
makes sense.
tracks. You're just starting out, so it
Yeah.
probably doesn't. So technically, I think there's a whole thing. I'll talk about it a bit because it's relevant and it's how it works. So you all have a skill called I need to click on one of your character sheets so I can see it. Called it's called like recognize. Yeah, recognize skill. So that is
Recognize.
for like,
Okay.
oh, I know who that guy is. That's whoever the
okay.
hell from the court of wherever the hell. And your glory, I think, actually applies as like a modifier on it a lot.
Okay.
For the purposes of this one, I want you guys to do the roll. So I'm just going to have you roll d20s, and you're rolling under your glory divided by 1,000, I think.
Round it up or down. This is important.
I
Oh,
think
never
it-
mind. No, it's not.
I would generally say round to the closest, and then if you're bang on it, like on 500, you can round up.
Two.
But if it's 501, then that answers the question.
Yeah.
I got distracted. What are we rolling?
I just do a d20, and you're rolling against your glory divided by 1,000.
Oh, gotcha. So
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, 2. Most of us
Yep.
are probably going to be 2.
Nope.
Oh, come on. That would have been very funny.
Oh, that's fumble. Very good. So I've double checked it. Yeah. So it's
How do you fumble being heard of?
I heard of you and I hate you.
So I double check in the recognize one. It is that they roll recognize and they add a modifier based on your glory. So he would have added +2 to his recognize skill, and then adjusted it further based on your proximity, things like that. For the purposes of this one, it is this work. So he doesn't know any of you. He may have perhaps heard of your family, but he's not heard of your own personal deeds just yet. And so you get a bit of a cold reception because Lord Robert seems to have brought the D team. Whereas Sir Jaradan, for I've heard of his tales, and I know Briardans rides with you, and he is a great hunter. We would have many stories to share. I don't know this Sir Boris. He seems rather new, a bit fresh-faced. And
great suggestion from Marcus Stefan. Should we get a modifier to that roll from the Lord's recognize skill?
Yeah, so it would have been his own, and then for proximity.
In which case, you may have heard of me, which again, very funny.
Which is, and actually, Triamore, you're the one from furthest away. Yeah,
arguably the worst knight.
I think for the purposes of this one, it works for just basically he doesn't know any of you beyond Moab, and the first night or two is fairly cold. Would anyone like to try and give me a courtesy roll or similar to ease this? Basically, Robert's on the back foot from the jump. This is going to anything.
Homage Lord, I gotta try my famous Homage Lord trait.
Yeah, so you can inspire passion. So Boris, particularly with the fumble, I would say you're a little bit on the back foot here, and would have a penalty to trying to sort of smooth tensions. You'll possibly keep going with the squire support and keeping things in line. Oh, you're muted, I think.
I am. I don't know if this is relevant, but I'm going to flag it. I also am famous for Homage Lord. So if Robert was to instruct that I need to do something to ease what have you, then I would need to. So I think that's more like
well,
I'm leaving that to you, Dave. Does that come into play here, or is it should I just not?
Your directions, your goal here, we are to confirm, loyalties and make sure that people are heard and, understand their concerns and react to them. And most importantly, secure this against the Saxons. Patrol the area, make sure that things are well held and that there are no incursions. The making sure he's happy with us is a subset of making sure the Saxons don't get through. He's happy means the Saxons don't get past. So in the priority order, getting him on side is very important. It's not the main thing. So if you think that risking, you could be focusing on other secure things, basically.
Yeah. If the primary objective is to ensure that this place stays secure, and there's kind of, I don't know if Boris would even really necessarily get the vibe that he is particularly disliked by someone, but I also don't think he goes out of his way to interact with lords unless he gets told to. So yeah, I'm happy for Boris to just go and continue what he was doing before and organizing things and kind of just staying out of the politics and in the actual stuff to do. Practicalities.
I could try to juice up my passion for loyalty to my companions if I were to be courteous enough and talk up Moab and how, obviously he must have come from a great house because he's done all of these great things and he's such a cool guy. I'm so glad I know him. So, how exciting is it to be here where...
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's tricky. It's going to need quite a courtesy roll.
I would
then,
love that.
Not mention that he's not really a member of the house.
I think that would be awesome. I think you can absolutely apply your passion there. I think it's a real if you fail though, you're stepping in it. It's.
I love that.
And I would say I would put stakes on this. This will earn you a check to your courtesy if this succeeds, because this is a risky. You are making a call here to try and, So do you want to, if you want to inspire your courtesy roll, and then Dame Turimore, did you want to inspire your similar, but for just...
I don't know if I'm going to go with courtesy. Can I go with play instrument and just impress him with being just standing? Me talking to people is bad, but I'm really musical. And
Absolutely.
good at that. I
he-
want to bring the vibes.
Absolutely. I would say if anyone had hunting, that would be, you would probably get a bonus because it's really his thing. But even despite that, he clearly values other skills than just the knightly traits. And play instrument is a skill to be showing that you are talented at something, and perhaps this is, of note. So, if you two want to each go ahead and make those rolls.
And I would
so I
like
need
to
to-
invoke my Homage Lord Passion because I'm doing the best I can at the thing that I'm best at.
Works for me?
So I need to roll my passion first.
Yes, roll the passion, so it'll
Right.
apply the roll, and then it's only if we're in the madness territory.
After you, Sir Hervis?
I have failed to invoke my passion, so it's just a straight courtesy roll. Is that
That's
right?
Yep.
And then if you fumble the
Yeah,
passion
don't
roll.
fumble that, but yeah.
All good.
Nice.
Alex?
So if you invoke a passion but don't succeed, nothing necessarily bad
Yeah.
happens.
No, you do roll it. We do make a roll. On the other one, you possibly get melancholic. So yes,
Now
there
I
is
just need to not fail this next one,
Yep. So you get +5 to your play instrument.
which like, honestly, I think the odds are. Yeah,
Ooh. Oh, you are quite good at it. You're 14 in that.
I am really good at it.
What is your instrument?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Scarhorn.
It's a Carnix, so it's a war horn. And if I would like everybody to set this in their mind, it is longer than I am tall. And the head of it is the head of a beast. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's the head of I have not specified the head of the beast that it is yet.
Sick.
It's probably the head of a rooster because that's
yeah.
my flag.
God.
My
I
flag
think
is
that's
a bunch
cool
of cocks.
too. I think that's
So-
cool
That's
too.
rad.
That's
My flag's a
awesome.
bunch of cocks. Like I'm being accurate here.
dropping-
Taxonomy is correct. It's a bunch of cocks. So I've got a very large, longer than I am tall horn with a cock on the end.
That's sick as. And I think that
I'm
absolutely.
dropping some Wikipedia images in chat, and they are rad.
I didn't realize you
They
hold
are
them
really
up.
cool,
Is
right?
the cool thing.
I don't know what kind of vibes they're bringing to the hall, but it seems
Killer
they're on
vibes.
point.
I think they absolutely play into his like hunter guy vibe. I think as Dentura, you kind of you shrink into the background a little bit, and as Sir Jacob is walking Lord Robert and the others around the hall, and they stop underneath this like curled lizard, longer, sort of like kind of monitor lizard length that is very strange and different to everyone here. As everyone's looking up at it and firelight sort of dances in its empty eyes, this like sounding baritone horn echoes through, and it's if the lizard has sprung back to life and bellowed its battle cry to charge again. And Sir Jacob's story is very much embellished by it, and you can see he probably doesn't necessarily notice like you as the individual so much, but he does like see in you like a kind of kinship, and it very much it works in his favor and to get his favor.
I've just found a very short clip, and I can pipe it through.
Yeah, go for it. Give us
I want to hear what it sounds like.
Sounds eerie.
That's quite.
Oh, it's funky. Dude, that's awesome. That's the best
amazing.
instrument I've ever heard.
It sounds almost, and thinking of that, at this particular point in time, being a battle horn, it rolls over the hills through the mist, and there is an army that is right behind it. It is an eerie, terrifying, freaky sound.
Yeah. That's so sick. And especially like in like these forests and stuff, and like late at night, like you can imagine hearing that as they coordinate the hunt and whatever, and it just sounding like a monster. I think that's so sick.
He's
That's
going to be a
awesome.
big fan of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's all in. He loves it. Very much works to get him on board. To your self, Sir Hervis, you very carefully tread your way through. You compliment some of Sir Mobe's traits that you could ID as coming from Sir Jacob and not the miscellaneous, and are very careful with your wording, never to mention his like upbringing here, but to talk of how you know him now and how he's, held himself. And so Jacob does seem to be, you can tell he's conflicted. He, as his acknowledged son, Sir Mobe will inherit, and he wouldn't speak ill of him, but they're very different people, and you do find it a little hard to find those through threads. For one thing, though, Sir Jacob does seem to be a relatively religious man. Definitely more, towards the church with it so close at hand. And yeah, you're able to find some threads that narrow the way through. I do need you to make a loyalty companions roll. As that did fail. Yep, because that did fail. You are at risk of a little melancholy.
This is what got me. If you fumble, you go.
Yeah, he succeeded his hunting. Okay, that's okay. You're all good. So that means that there is no effect. You basically, what this is saying is you are not able to draw on your love of your companions. And I think what happens here is Simone's not here, and you kind of like in trying to like rally and like build up a team. You can't help but remind that Sir Mobe has vanished and does appear to, at present, have abandoned his duties. And your words,
at risk of reminding everyone that he's not here.
Yeah, your words just feel a little hollow. Okay. You'll settle in and we'll prepare to continue your work in the following weeks. We're going to return to Sir Mobe.
Speak of the devil.
And he shall appear.
I've got my glasses of focusing on.
Yeah. So Mobe, you're walking and have been walking through a strange and strangely beautiful place. It's this wide sort of boulevard hemmed by twisted trees with tall roots that raise up out of the ground so high that you can easily walk beneath them. You're not completely sure when you arrived here, and you can't remember taking off your boots and leaving them far, far behind, but the grass feels very pleasant underneath your feet. The rest of your accoutrement is present. You have a sword at your hip, and your lighter, padded armor is still present. You have no helmet, but you weren't wearing one when you departed was it a week ago? You're not hungry, and the tips of your fingers are stained somewhat red from berries or fruits that you found out here in these what seem to be wildly uncultivated fields. There's brambles just beyond the distance, and you can see hundreds of small dotted black pearls. Delicious fruits. In the distance, you can see a fountain, a natural one. There is a large rock that's raised out of the ground, and a pool of the most beautiful, refreshingly clear water that's dribbling down its side and dropping into the ground. You're hungry, yes, but you currently have a thirst that you simply must slake.
Well, I mean, all of this is being handed to me. I'm in the wild. There's nobody around. I'll go for a drink. I'm sort of expecting that suddenly I'll stumble into a camp eventually that will have all of the food and everything that I need, even though the Saxons camped ages ago and probably weren't very set up. I will, at this stage, I'll give those blackberries a miss because they blackberries are associated with the devil, don't you know?
Oh. And you're already very full. You hardly need them.
Yeah.
You make your way towards this fountain in the clearing, and the sun that's streaming down and across it is so pleasantly warm that as you sort of kneel down before it and bow your head, you can feel it sort of warming the back of your neck, and there's the twittering song of a red-breasted robin just perched on the tip of this rock. You lean down towards the water, and as you do, you see in this slightly disturbed reflection from the droplets falling, a figure standing behind you of a tall, golden-haired woman.
I quickly straighten up, turn around, and try to make myself look presentable, effectively. It's just typical. My dad rants so much about hunting, and these terrible things. Wandering into the woods is great. Everyone meets you. It's lovely.
It all comes together.
The food just grows on trees.
Yeah, you turn around and tug your tunic into place, and feel relatively well presented, except for just not wearing the boots is odd, but it feels all right in the moment. This woman standing in front of you is tall. What's your size, Sir Mob? Are you a large man, or are you sort of more average
small,
in height?
but I'm not particularly large. My size is a solid 13.
Okay, yeah, pretty average. She's a little taller than you. She's not like towering or anything, but certainly tall for a woman. And she has these long golden hair that falls across her head, across her shoulders rather, and down towards her waist, very similarly to that of the water just behind you. She's dressed in a relatively plain white dress, and she has held in her hands a knotted bough of ivy with little red dotted berries upon it that seems very reminiscent of the recently departed Yuletide season. She looks at you as you turn, and then she says, "Oh, won't you drink if you're thirsty?"
So sorry, my lady, if this is your fountain. I meant no offense. Do you? I still think we're in fields somewhat. You likened them to untended fields. I probably stammer out. Is this? Are you the lady of these lands, or something like that?
She nods and she says, "You do me the courtesy of recognize it. Yes, this is mine, all that you can see. But while you are here, treat it as yours too. Drink as much as you would like."
Oh, thank you. I don't know when Mobe's ears might prick up. He is mad, but I think that playing into that, I probably would oblige.
Well, here's the thing. You could roll trusting suspicious, or you could go into your spiritual worldly. You're also, as a reasonably devoutly religious man, it's just seeming a little bit pagan. You know, there's you could roll you could go into your religion. The base would possibly be trusting suspicious. If you were famously trusting, I'd probably have you roll that to not. But as you kind of bend line, you could roll between the two to see how you react.
I might go with the spiritual worldly. I like that, and that's also something that's come up a few times. I lost a point of spiritual recently in the winter phase because of a little crisis of faith. So I'll roll that if that works.
Sure, go for it.
Yep. All right. That's a success on spiritual. Okay. Possibly, I believe that then this is...
You possibly, somewhat... lean into this is something a bit beyond what it presents, certainly. And whether that inspires caution or faith, I can kind of lead to you. But yes, you recognize that there's more here than plainly presented. I actually think a trusting suspicious roll as well. Not to force rolls, but I think that would be kind of sets where you're coming from in this, and as this sort of madness breaks and you together here at least. Yeah. So roll whichever one you think you'd like to go in the direction of, and then we'll roll the other if it doesn't succeed.
Yeah, I will. I think that Mob is usually he trusts Faith because he's a faithful person. So I'll start with trusting. Fail on trusting, so I roll suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Success on suspicious.
You are approaching this from a place of concern.
Okay, yeah, I get right down to the fountain and then kind of hesitate just above the water, little bit realizing where I am. I'm not wearing shoes. I would not want to leave you hungry or thirsty, my lady. I could not. Your fields are in such abundance, but where is your home and your staff?
My staff are all around and will come if I call. My home is hither, beyond those trees. It is a fine place. I can show it to you if you would like. But I recognize your cross, Sir Knight, and I know that you are not home. You come from the Abbey and the fort that resides besides it.
That's right. I grew up in the Abbey. I kind of blinked for a few seconds. I must be blessed by God to have such to live in a place of such bounty.
God is here, as he is always. And I recognize in your eyes that you are a child of Jacob.
Are we close to my father's land?
Oh, very. Very close indeed. And here, take my hand and I would lead you to them. I would ask, and she pauses for a moment, given that I will give this to you, perhaps sometime later, a favor in return that I could ask.
Of course, my lady, I live to serve.
Then serve you will, and so you will live. Let us take you home, brave Sir Knight, to your people, and to those that miss you much.
Take the hand that was hovering above the water and let it be led away. I've still got that thirst, though.
A horrible thirst. Your throat feels dry and raspy, and the words are tough to form. But as you walk with this beautifully strange and strangely beautiful woman, she leads you through the brambles and under boughs, and soon the soft grass that you're treading through turns to sort of bark and odd rocks and sharp stones, and here's the familiar place of uncomfort, which you thought that you had left. And eventually she stops, and she says, "Go this way, follow that track, and you will find the road again, and not too long, your father's fort. Go that way." Shall we meet
turn
again?
Around and I give a respectful bow, the kind of like as if I was leaving a keep. Then say thank you, and then very awkwardly start to walk across like spiky ground, not wearing any shoes. Yeah,
Trying to get down to the beach without your thongs on.
yeah.
Yeah, you turn around and head back the way that she directs, and when you emerge and unable to fight the urge, look back, no sign of her, only the broken branches you left behind. Where you are is not far from the fort at all, but it is not the time of day you thought. By the fountain's presence, you would have thought midday or something similar, but it seems to be early morning, with the sun just rising and the lark's call heralding the dawn. And riding down this path comes a retinue of knights, familiar knights, Sir Boris, Sir Hervis, and Dame Triamore. It has been another 3 days that you have been at the fort, and Sir Moba's now been missing for more than a week. You have done several circuits, patrols in the area, looking for both him and for those bloody Saxons. And unfortunately, seen no sign of either. And you see him
just
now,
casually,
barefooted,
right? Like, not
standing
like
on the road.
not
It's
letting his
casual.
dad on that he's missing.
Well, no, because you're looking for Saxons anyway, so you've got
Just
plenty of
looking for
excuse to
Saxons.
riding out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I waved. I think I waved them down on instinct. Yeah, absolutely. If there's friends.
Yeah. So Merv, you have you're out of your madness. You have returned. You have like a kind of foggy recollection of the whole thing. Like, yeah, the woods for a bit. You remember what just happened. That's pretty clear. The rest of it's fairly vague, and you can't really justify more than a week. It really feels as if it's been like the afternoon and it's the next morning.
If I can add a detail, I'd love to say that the hand that I touched the woman's hand with, the red berry stain lingers or something. I think would be quite cool.
Absolutely.
If I've returned enough to understand my breach of decorum here, I probably think too. We are presumably quite close to the abbey that I grew up at. And I think that maybe I could parlay into I went to see the abbey and make sure it was okay. I'm trying to think of how I can sort of like lean into a breach, possibly even the people there I might trust more than my family to cover for me. But I will also probably, I mean, at least to these guys admit, I got super lost.
It sucked. Actually, it was fine.
Yeah.
James, you will earn 25 glory for going mad. Heads up. You'll possibly lose. We might need to have you do an honor roll later, or basically, I think as this unfolds, you may lose honor though for basically bailing on your lord in a point when it was gonna be pretty critical. So I think you definitely have one honor kind of on the line here. It kind of depends on how it's all handled. But yeah. You can have your boots, like they will have spare equipment, and their squires can attend to you. What's the immediate course of action for everyone? Do you want to, like, you could go to the abbey, you could just head back. It is, for the three of you, it's early in your patrol, you have more to do. You could just continue on your march. You do have a duty.
First of all, I'm sorry.
Not us. You got to apologize to, buddy.
Well, yeah, I need. Robert's going to be very annoyed. I think that it's probably best for the slight to not land on him. So I would propose I'll make my way towards the abbey, see if I can convince them to cover for me, and then hopefully I've been there for a while, and my father will take that as an insult made by me that will not splash back on Robert, which is the most important thing.
Is this a somewhat deceitful thing to do?
This is
Just say you got sick.
You could also just say you got lost in the woods.
Yeah.
It's a thing that
looks very
happens.
good for Robert, I think, is probably what I'm thinking of. But
Well,
yes.
Going down another thing of actually like trying to like full on like deceit, basically, of like trying to get other people to cover for you and whining is almost certainly going to dig you a deeper hole. It's possibly something that Simob considers, and maybe the action you take. The other path is just own it. This is a game and realm of high emotional stakes. Like, people do go mad at the very consideration of a blah blah blah, and you do get lost in the woods and have strange adventures. Like, this actually, like I said, you get 25 glory for this. This is actually a significant thing, and people will possibly like talk about it, and rumors will go. Like, it's kind of what builds you, and you have had a strange and beautiful experience. Perhaps it's godly, is how you will interpret it. It's up to you. The most straightforward would just be like, I went into the woods and got lost. Kind of embarrassing for you, particularly in your father's eyes, who is an incredible hunter. But it's an option. It's just kind of, face value.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think that I just go for it then. Straightforward and...
You also, unfortunately, have a companion who is famous for honesty. I cannot in good conscience allow you to deceive our Lord and the person who is showing us hospitality. It is, I think it's best to just be honest. You got lost in the woods on a scouting mission for our Lord. It is something that happens. Yes, it is moderately embarrassing, but would you really do yourself the dishonor of lying to your father and to your lord?
Also,
I
this
would-
lady you met, it seems a little unusual. I mean,
Wait, have you
sure,
told
maybe-
us about the lady, or have you just said you got lost?
I met a woman from a overgrown estate who showed me the way. Yeah.
I suspect fairy activity, but if he's not saying fairy activity, I'm not gonna say mum.
Can I roll recognize to see if I know what house
I
they
think
live
that
in this
plays.
woods?
Hang on. Yes, wait. That's so good. Make let me just get up the recognize skill. I want to see if there's any modifiers. That's
I've got
so,
5, so I'm
good.
not expecting to succeed.
Yeah.
I have 6, but I don't care. Or like, I have 6 in recognize apparently.
Yeah, let's do. I think that's terrific. Make a recognize roll. I think just straight roll.
Any of us, or just Hervis?
If any of you if you're putting your mind to it, that's fine. But I think so.
I'm set on fairy.
Yeah, hey, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you certainly don't recognize it. But there are estates around. In the
Probably should
woods,
have a go.
but yeah, you don't immediately recognize it. I'm seeing if there's an appropriate role that you can make Turimont for like insight into this.
I think that I'm probably not finding it.
Look, if that's not how he's framing it, I'm not going to make him. I've just decided it's.
I think that the framing would just be that you've got to be religiously cautious about talking about fairies and stuff like that. But I met a noble lady who had vast overgrown lands in the middle of the woods. We know those are not a thing. Blackberries for miles. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm sure if you just tell them what happened, all shall be well. All shall be well.
I owe it to Robert to tell him the truth.
Okay. It's early in the morning. Do you intend?
owe it to your oath as a knight, sir. Honesty is important.
It's early in the morning. Do you intend to complete your patrol for the day, or do you want to return and deliver some mob at once?
Oh no, we need some time to freshen up.
Good.
Yeah, let's. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I really hope we get attacked on the way so that it can really just distract from. I'm really enthusiastic about finding some Saxons.
I'm sure we.
Does not take 3 of us if Mo wishes to go back. Okie dokie.
No,
But it
please,
doesn't take 3 of us to escort. We've got a job to do.
The only thing we're missing is that we don't have enough horses. We have our squires, and we can, obviously get a squire to hop off a horse, but then the squire needs to go somewhere. So
A couple of the squires could possibly share a horse for the interim. Hardly comfortable, but enough to, get to and fro. You could send the squires back now. Give Simo one of the horses and send the squires back to get word to Lord Robert so that he's prepared. And
We've all got 2 riding horses, right? Seems like that's enough.
one
to go
for
around.
us and one for our squire.
Yeah, send the squires back slower, but we'll just continue on the loop.
yeah, you're actually not. They've you guys have just left the fort kind of for the morning. If they just go back the other way, they'll get there in an hour or so. Hopefully, they don't get lost in the woods. What are the chances? Who wants to send the squires back?
Woman who can show them the way.
Let's stick together, shall we?
Yeah. I mean, we can send all 3 squires back together. That way, they at least
numbers.
have. Yeah, and then with the 2 horses, and whether they go and get another horse and come back and join us with some mob squire or not. But
I think the squires can share a horse.
And stay with?
All 4 of them on one horse.
And they're lucky they get it. Okay. You continue. So you continue your patrol for the day. And can I ask all 4 of you to make battle rolls?
Ooh.
What? Why would you ask such a thing, Dave?
You're assessing. You're assessing for battle.
Nah, fumbled it.
You get a tick,
And
no?
back, baby.
You do get a tick. I've
You get a
forgotten to be
tick
doing
for
that.
fumbling.
Yeah, you do
You get a tick
tick
of
fumbles.
fumbles.
Yes, you do
Oh my
tick
god,
fumbles.
I should have been doing this all along. I'm gonna go back. and
So rather than ticking on a success, it's a critical or a fumble, or if something
right.
happens
Of
that's
note,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
of
it's
note,
memorable. Yeah. I only did criticals and memorables.
Yes, I did forget about fumbles. Thank you. I think we're just pending Sir Hervis.
Oh shit, son.
Oh,
Ew.
did my go through? No.
Oh, sorry, not Sir
No,
Hervis.
no,
It was Sir
mine.
Boris. It was Sir Boris. Sorry, my bad.
Snip.
Okay.
I succeeded.
Good for you.
All right.
It's great for me. I'm gonna go have a battle with Ouches.
Sir
Like-
Mobe and Sir Boris are assessing, but kind of, other things going on. You're keeping an eye out. You're
I'm
focusing in.
distracted. I'm thinking about the
Yeah, stuff to be locking in on. Well, it's actually
I'm enjoying the sunshine.
it is a lovely, crisp day.
I'm thinking about fairies.
Yes, that is exactly what I was going to lean towards. Dame Triamore, this area, you've actually felt it a couple times in your stay here during your patrols. This space has a sort of a strangeness to us. It's very much like an this feels like walking on a path between two realms. And as you're watching Sir Mobe, like he's just riding in front of you. He's pulled his boots on now, but his right hand, as he sort of clutches at the reins and pulls it in, is still stained red. And you actually think it looks as though it may have spread somewhat from when he first returned. Probably at some point, actually, it's getting a little bit colder and actually pulls on gloves, and you can't see it anymore. But yeah, you're kind of focused in on that in particular. It's only Sir Hervis that feels something awry. Something is wrong. You've been patrolling this area for several days now, and there's something different about today. It's the way the wind's blowing. Something cracks in the branches towards the side, and you start at it for a moment and then catch back up to your companions. And Sir Hervis, can you alone please make an awareness roll?
I bet I can't. Ooh, I have succeeded against the odds.
That's so good.
Oh, it's great. I'm very pleased.
You're sort of riding past these wooden groves, and as you're moving along, the others talking, catching up with Sir Mobe and questioning him, when you see, different from the greens and browns of the wood, a caught glint of steel, and you whip your head around and see as an archer hauls back on a bow
my
and
God.
lets loose. And with a cry, you snap your horse's reins and charge it forward. You alone are going to be able to try and dodge the coming attack. Everyone else I'm just doing straight rolls for as they come towards you. So Sir Hervis, can you roll? It is actually against the move rate of your horse, as if it was a skill itself. So we'll just put you on the
do we
charge
care
for the sake of
that-
it. It'll be 16.
Thank you.
basically.
Yeah, great.
I'm not getting up those
I
rolls.
imagine I could just hop across.
Yeah.
All right, great. So just roll against 16.
Yep. Just roll against 16, and that will impose or has the chance to impose a. Oh my god, it's a fumble.
Here
Oh,
we go.
now we're cooking. All right.
Take your horse's speed.
I think it possibly is the transfer to charger or
tick-
something.
Can I
Yeah.
take my horsemanship for a fumble?
Yeah, I don't know what happens there. I think we'll
Look it up.
we'll just what, because it's not an actual skill. It was a rolling against it as a skill. I think it wouldn't make your
My
horse
horse.
faster.
My horse ticks the fumble. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna roll 4 attacks, and yours actually they're gonna get a bonus. I actually love it. In the book it says, "quote If the roll is somehow fumbled, the archers instead gain a +5 bonus to skill, and I'm like, well, book, would you know?
Somehow.
It has somehow happened.
Somehow. 5% chance is more than a somehow.
All right, so I'm rolling
How
for,
dare
I'm
you.
just going to do them in the order on the screen. So I'm rolling at Sir Boris first. And it's just a flat, oh, what is my flat DC? I was just going to say it, so I just need to get over a 14. Under a 14, haha, how the game works. Fumbled, great job, you suck. That one misses, and they bow breaks, I think. This one is against Sir Herva, so I'll have a +5. Oh, whoops. Had a bit of a...
At least there's like.
Oh, come on.
At least oh god, I was about to make a joke of like at least everyone is also bad, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
everyone has problems.
And I realized what I was doing wrong last week as well when the modifiers were working. I was writing +5. If you just write 5, it does it fine.
Yeah.
It's because it was adding an extra character that it didn't know what it was. Okay, so that is an extra.
Wait, hold on. Does that include the? No, yeah, it does.
No,
Heck.
No, I need to. I need to
dear.
roll the critical damage separately.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh, whoops.
I actually don't know how crits work on arrows because it's not. I don't know that they get the full bonus. I think it might be a fraction because the full
I
bonus is
can look
46.
it up if you want to keep rolling the
Oh,
other
Arcu7
ones.
said 46. I'm very excited to roll a bunch of damage at you.
46 adds.
That is just
something?
general critical. The critical is normally just 46. I believe that just applies. Missile weapon. Oh, hang on, here we go. Missile attack. Results. Weapon damage. Nothing that says it doesn't, so I'm gonna do the full damage. Alright, so I'm gonna add 46 to this.
Oh dear.
Yeah. God damn.
That's
Fuck
so
off.
high.
Excuse me.
Okay, but
22.
Alrighty.
6'5", 6'5".
But
Alrighty.
you've got armor. You've got armor. You've got your.
You do
you've
have
got
armor. You
your
cannot apply your
knockdown.
shield because you failed. This is
that's
gonna
fine.
be a.
I
So
imagine.
You've got armor. You've got knockdown. You've
bow.
got like.
A bow can't knock you down, though, can it?
I think it hits you hard enough. I
An
think
arrow
it does. Yeah. So this is against your. So
Sure.
it is the 28 is against the knock. Is 28 above your knockdown value?
Definitely.
Please
Wait,
make.
28.
Yeah, because
22.
add together 6 plus 22.
That would kill me.
Oh, it's normal
Outright.
damage plus 46?
Yes. Criticals are bonuses.
Jesus.
That was what did in Kenrick.
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right.
All right, so yes, it's definitely above a knockdown.
So go
What's
ahead
your
and
armor
roll
value?
a.
My armor is 6. Oh, no, you say I'm doing my shield.
Yeah, you're
And-
not. We'll do the knockdown first because that's going to apply. So it is a straight dex roll.
All right, I would like to.
Oh, sorry. It's
stay
not greater than
upright.
twice your knockdown, is it? Because apparently then it's just
come on.
automatic.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, hold on. What was it? 28?
28.
28.
28 final.
That's exactly twice my knockdown.
God damn.
You
Okay, I
failed
think
the dex
it might
anyway,
just
so-
happen. Actually, sorry. It does say greater than twice, so it is not that. So
Doesn't
it is a
matter.
roll.
Failed. I still
This
failed.
does fail. So you fall down. So you can take 1d6 as you tumble.
Oh god.
Which will be a separate instance of damage though. So
So my armor's
Armor?
going to soak all that?
Well, your
I think
armor is
so.
10 without a shield.
Yeah.
you suffer from the fall and drop your weapon. Now you hadn't necessarily gotten to weapons drawn yet, but so you fall from the ground. All right, now let's deal the damage. So 28
18
damage is
damage
dealt
from
to
the
you,
hit.
reduced by your armor.
And
Without my shield,
10.
it's only 10.
Okay, so you take quite a lot.
what's your
18.
constitution?
My con is 15.
So that's more than a major wound for you then.
Yeah, my major wound is 13.
It's your constitution. So I'm pretty sure the only person out of this group that can take a hit of 18 and not be complete, well, maybe, is me. Because my constitution's 18.
Yeah.
So that's a
Um,
major wound.
This is what a
Alrighty.
session.
So apply the wound, and given it is a major wound, states of health. Is it?
So you
I like
roll-
that you have a little thing that says wounds, damage, and description. So you can be like, well, I took a wound and an arrow wound,
they
and
get-
it took me 18 damage, and so now I get to describe that.
They get healed
Yeah.
separately too. So because you have to
Ah,
you
cool.
record each one. Yeah. Okay.
Mine
taking.
says Lance sad face.
Mine says Lance happy face. All right, so it's a major wound. It is a major wound, right? Damage from a single blow that is greater than or equal to the
Yep.
yada yada yada. Characters cannot shrug off this damage. True. You immediately go unconscious.
Cool.
The
Gee
debilitated
whiz.
box must be checked.
I'm gonna
Needed
take a
him.
nap, y'all.
I'm
So
gonna roll.
You yell, start charging, and then get
I'm gonna roll
I
two
am
more
ready.
quick.
off.
And then get
Or lie
absolutely
down.
bodied.
I'm gonna roll 2 more attacks. So this one is for Samob. Come on, guys, do it again. How funny would that be? Weak.
Success.
There's 9 damage to.
And I have lighter armor on, I presume. So do you want me to knock it
Yes,
down
you will
to
just
what I
be in
had
your
during the training brawl, which was 5?
Yes, it would be the armor. Actually, if we look on your character sheet quickly, it should have the cloth armor. It should say what it is. Hobo. You have 6 armors. Oh no, you have 2 armor protection from the Akaton. You would just win the other, so you're going to reduce it by 2.
Okay, so that brings it down to 7. I'm not major wounded, but ouch.
Hang on, if you're not wearing your armor and you're not wearing your helmet, you only have 2 armor unless
Yes.
you have a shield.
Yeah, that is his
Okay.
value. It was just reduced by 2.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. And our last one for Dame Tremor. Yeah. Wow, that guy also drops his bow. So 2 of them are not very good.
We're just looking at each
One
other
of them
like,
is
"Who?"
fine, and the last one is the greatest arch the world has ever known, Robin Hood and his merry band of men. There's this loose of arrows, and as the rest of you hear this sort of, Sir Hervis roars out and charges forward, but his horse rears back up and he catches it straight in the ribs and tumbles over to the side, slamming onto the ground. And as the horse panics and begins to bolt, Sir Hervis does not move. From the rest of you, you look over back towards where the arrows were coming from and see the archers. This wasn't like a full, they don't have like arrows planted in the ground or anything. They were just like drawing them and firing as a, an attack of opportunity. However, you can see from behind them rustling in the woods. They are not alone, at least. What are the 3 of you immediately doing?
First thing I do is I yell to the squires to get Hervis, because they're still with us. We think we were all sticking together, right?
Okay. It will be a squire roll to get the squires to react. Now, it's not your squire, so that's a little interesting. I think it'll just be your skill still, so you'll make a squire roll to get them to grab Sir Hervis and begin to go. The other one might be getting the horse under control or dipping.
How are these particularly armored individuals, or are they like, more?
God, I'm so fucking valorous. There's no way I'm running shit.
So is it? Tip my hand. I'll describe it in this beat because it's going to affect the thing. As they fire and as you look at it, the rustling breaks and you see dozens of mounted knights beginning to come out from behind. This is you probably don't want a mano this one, or it's like a surrender sort of thing. You are far outnumbered. This is an assault.
Okay.
And
we're
your
getting out of
duty would be to return to Lord Robert as soon as possible to let him know so that he can prepare.
It is not.
Yeah.
Is it unvalorous to retreat in a situation where the odds are overwhelming?
Discretion is the better
I
part.
don't believe it is.
Remarkably,
I think it would be proud to not. I think it would be
It'd be reckless, because reckless is also a
exactly.
a
I reckon
skill.
it would be an act of pride and recklessness to try and take him on.
Trying to survive and get back and deliver the news we're meant to do is part of valor. Like we have jobs that extend beyond just weapons.
Here's where the valor might come in, though, would be if Sir Hervis couldn't be retrieved, you might stay with him to see that he is taken hostage rather than killed, but if you can get him up and move with him, then that's plenty valorous. It would only be if you actually want to stay and fight for a reason. At the moment, it would just be a suicide charge. There'd be no strategic benefit to doing it, except like vengeance on that one archer.
So here's I don't. The game master may call for an unopposed valorous trait roll when the character confronts overwhelming odds or creatures.
That's for fleeing. That's for fleeing. Some creatures have
so if you want
some
Or if
creatures
you
have a
want to
modifier where you
stay.
actually can't, like you dip because you
Yeah.
see them and you're like, I'm not fighting that guy, and you leave.
Yeah, okay, so like you would almost need to have a high valor in order to stay and fight.
Yes.
This is just like, all right, cool. That makes more sense.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody needs to Hervis. I'm gonna start dipping, but I'm also gonna take my Carnix out and start blasting.
Yes, sick.
I've
Just
got
try
a
and get
thing
the
for
mess.
this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna. So I think it's gonna have to be. I don't know, because it's gonna have to be a horsemanship roll because I am on horseback trying to do this. We've done this before, and that's where my other 2 fumbles came from. For those of you playing along at home, it was trying to do this.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so you race back. So the squires turn as arrows fly through the air and throw themselves down to try and get Sir Hervis onto his horse. The most appropriate rolls here would be squire roll for getting them on it, and someone making a horsemanship to get Sir Hervis's horse to calm for long enough that you can get him onto it and then lead it away.
I would like to focus on putting myself between the oncoming horde / additional fire and my allies while they try and do things, and do very similarly to the last time we had a fight. I would like to raise my shield and be a full defensive barrier. I am
The wall.
I think we said 6'4". I'm big, so
Okay.
I will like to wheel my horse around and essentially get my shield up. I'm not interested in attacking. I am purely creating a defense for the rest of my companions.
I
Okay.
succeeded the squire roll. I'm happy to make a horse roll too if you want, but I might just be just one from me.
Okay. Yeah. The squires leap down, and Sir Hervis's own squire gets underneath him and hoists him back up and into the saddle, and then leaps on behind him to keep him in his seat. This also creates enough horses that everyone can now ride, and so Boris's and Pierce on the third ride in flank to keep him under control and away. So Hervis, so rather than horsemanship, can you actually roll your squire's skill to see how he does in the controlling the horse, getting it moving, all of these?
Would this count as a knightly skill? Because horsemanship is a knightly.
I'm just going to cover it all under I'm just going to put it all under squire. It's just
It's just
can you
'cause,
do the
like,
thing.
Squire.
Oh, but my squire is the heir of a vassal knight and has a +1 to knightly skills.
Yeah, like mine actually has less negatives to knightly than they do to regular skills, so it does kind of
Look,
change.
yeah, that is true. It genuinely probably would be a knightly skill because it's them doing something rather than the squire skill is more you commanding them. So give me 2 seconds.
Then I'm going to take that modifier.
Well, no,
Should I just roll squire with
it's a different role because it's now their skill, so I have to get up their abilities because they have a base level at different things.
Okay.
I suspect this might be
So
worse.
knightly, squire, I think both start at 15. Because I have a -2 to skills and a -1 to knightly skills, and my squire skill is 13, and my knightly squire skill is 14.
Yeah. I had this written down the other day when we were doing
Wrong.
Squire.
I believe that we were on the
you
same
little nerds.
tier, Hervis, and I have 13, I think is the squire's base skill.
Oh, here we go. 211 is the page. Got him good. 211. Oh, totally different place. All right. If the game master decides the squire needs a specific skill value, assume 5, except for horsemanship, brawling, charge, and sword, which start at the squire's current age -9. So, what is your squire's age, Jackson?
Oh dear.
14.
Yeah.
-9.
So it's a 5 plus 1. So roll against a 6.
Oh my god. You got it.
Rolling horsemanship.
It's his one, yeah. So it's his
Just
one. He has a
6,
6 in
but it looks-
horsemanship functionally.
It looks like squires can tick skills as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
that works
So,
for me.
yeah,
Then I guess
I'm
this
gonna
is him
record it.
actually. Yeah, well then if you end up playing the squire because you die here, then you've got more numbers. Oh, it was close. It was close.
Close. It was close.
Okay, it's not a fumble, so he's keeping it under control and lashing as he moves forward, but the horse is bucking and has 2 people in its place, and it is used to the command of a weighted knight, and someone who can tell it what to do directly. Your squire is not yet at that point as he is quite young, and with the others flanking it, it does shift around. I'm going to apply another attack that's going to go through to Sir Boris as it takes time for you to all get ready, so the archers are going to loose once more. 2 of them fumbled, so they don't even have arrows. So that solves that problem, but the other 2 are going to fire on you. So Boris, because you are aware of it this time, you can attempt to evade it. So it is a straight your horse's speed roll, and that will impose a penalty to both of them.
Although if you're walling, you might not want to evade.
This is a counter. You've gotten their attention. You've gotten the thing. It'll apply.
It's like knocking it out of the way with a shield or something.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Do I get any, like... No, the shield is just my bonus for if I get hit by something. So roll a d20. That is a 15. My horse's speed is 16, so that is a success.
Nice.
That is a success. Nicely done. So that is going to apply a -5 penalty to each of them, and you will be able to use your shield on these attacks. So the first one coming through to you is going to be a failure, and the second one coming through to you.
Break your bow.
Oh, it has not applied the modifier correctly, but whatever. They actually have a... That is going to be a success, even with the modifier reduction. Oh, no, sorry, that has applied it. They're at 9, because they're at 14. All right, there's 12 damage to you, which can be reduced by your armor and shield. That's not above your knockdown, I don't think.
My knockdown is 17, and my armor and shield together is 16. I do not take any damage.
Catch it, sort of slapping it through on the kite shield, and ride out hard behind Sir Hervis and the others. Samob, you on your lone rider, riding horse, race along beside them, and Dame Triamore at the fore, blowing as hard as she can into the horn to sound the alarm in advance. Can you make a... I think it's probably more horsemanship. I think the instrument's being used, but I think horsemanship's the one that I want to apply here, because like getting ahead, getting the alert, basically.
Ooh, am I going to risk a passion for a modifier here?
Would you like a passion for a modifier? Homage, like your fealty, would absolutely
Homage Lord
apply.
is the obvious one.
This is
or loyalty companions.
I don't have that one.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Homage Lord, let's go. Straight roll it.
Yep, straight roll it. Success. Add 5 to your horsemanship. Well done.
Who sucks now? Watch me fumble.
Fumble.
Hey, no, we're
Ooh,
good.
nicely done.
We're good. We're tootin', fam.
Yeah.
Doot doot.
Triamore rides hard ahead of each of you, who cover Sir Hervis and keep eyes behind you as a wave of clearly mounted Saxon knights bearing the crest of King Cerdic break from the foothills and charge out to try and meet you, but you are quick enough, and they are clearly not like laying full ambush. It was an incidental opportunity. They chase for some good 100 yards or so, but you've gotten reasonably familiar with this area in the time that you've been here, and you're able to outpace them. And when you arrive back at the fort, having heard the horn sounding from the distance, people are already preparing, and you can see Sir Leo out the front calling to villagers and moving them in. There was a chance that something like this happened. It's literally what you were patrolling for. It wasn't expected. This is a surprising turn of events, but it's not. You had contingencies in place. So the villagers are beginning to be moved in behind walls. And Sir Leo, as soon as you charge forward, just tells you to he clears a path, and he has you race straight through and get to Lord Robert as soon as possible to deliver your message.
And Mo, surprise Mo.
And a bonus Sir Mob, who takes up the rear shortly after. You see Sir Leo taking it all in.
This is...
all right.
Because like we're delivering the message, like, do we all need to deliver the message, or because I am leaning Boris in the direction of chivalry, there are a lot of peasants that need to be protected in this moment. Is it inappropriate for Boris to stop and not go towards Lord Robert?
No, not at all. As long as the message is delivered. There's like ceremony around a lot of these things, but honestly, your practical knights, your soldiers, like do it. The critical thing is just doing what needs to be done. So no, as long as the message gets through, the rest of you can just someone can tend to Hervis and get him to a medic as well would probably be.
Yeah.
And because I'm at the back protecting, I will yell, ride on ahead, and I will swing my horse around and put myself in sort of that, like, again, defensive position so that Sir Leo is able to get the peasants inside the walls, and I can do my best to try and get in the way of whatever, like if they do come towards the walls. I know that there's probably archers getting set up, but all defense needs time, and Boris is going to make sure that that time is given to the best of his ability.
You stand at the front so that you can monitor the approaching army, and as the others race through and get Sir Hervis to the attendants that can look after him, help to escort people in and deliver the message, you wait to make sure that no one sneaks up unawares.
I'm also kind of hoping if they're going to like shoot, if there's a big knight in gleaming armor, if they're going to try and shoot at anything, it's going to be the knight and not the peasants.
It's also generally, you got away and ahead of them and got a message. The army is not all mounted. You rode hard back here, and we narrated it quickly, but it was a moderate ride. You probably have several hours before they actually reach here, if the army is marching like armed men.
They're still going to go for it.
Yeah, but still standing here and monitoring it is an excellent decision.
I will be on my horse for the purposes of just being big and easy to move around and can help. If there are elderly or children or people who are in a position that they are not as quick, Boris will also literally hoist people up on a horse. Yeah. Because while technically station demands that they respect knights, chivalry, which is this new fandangled thing, is very much about sod the station, people need looking after.
Well, and also, but station goes both ways. Yes, they need to respect you, but yes, you need to look after them. That's your station, is making sure that they are protected. That's why you're there.
Duty of care.
Which I think is a little bit different to the way that most people see station who aren't chivalrous. The concept of chivalry kind of shifts it a little bit. My station now includes look after people who are below.
Yeah, I mean, these people are under Sir Jacob's care, and he is sworn fealty to the Lord Robert, your lord. These people are ultimately your people to protect and to watch.
Do you want a roll of anything for any of that, or nah?
There's time for this, and you have successfully gotten away from them and have the not the advantage, but at least a period to bring people in. And so Boris will be the last person through the gates before they are drawn close. Just as cresting over the hill, you see the rising Wessex banners of King Cerdic. Inside, Sir Mobe and Dame Triamore meet with Lord Robert and give him the ill news that King Cerdic, or at least his men, have returned. An attempted ambush has wounded Sir Hervis, and he is currently in the care of Lady Leah, Sir Jacob's wife, as she tends to him, along with one of the abbots that was by chance here from the nearby monastery. Lord Robert is nervous, certainly, but set in his ways and knows that a response will need to be prepared. We'll return to sort of how Sir Mobe's return is handled and things, but to leave the session with clear stakes. Outside, a camp is erected, and King Cerdic lays in and prepares for siege. As night falls and looking out, you can see torches planted in the area as they begin to settle in for as long as they need. You are aware that you are quite isolated here, and no one, moment least, is coming to help. A herald will come forward, plainly bearing the king's colours, and to note that he is not an aggressor, and from a significant distance, but one that he can yell over, technically within arrow range if anyone's feeling particularly cheeky, will shout the king's terms.
It'll be moderately dishonourable, but sure.
It'll be heavily dishonourable. He yells the King Cerdic's terms. There is to be the complete submission of Salisbury to Wessex, an acknowledgement of King Cerdic as king, and there is to be the payment made that has been already spent by King Cerdic in mustering this army, so he can be compensated for his efforts. Lord Robert calls down in no uncertain terms, no and never. And that's where we'll leave the session.
Hell yeah.
Right call.
Get them.
Can we have just a little visual thing? If Robert calls down no and never, Because I feel like Boris at this point has been doing a little bit of work with like the squires and the knights for Sir Robert. Can they all do the like smash their weapon against their shield and just yell that like ooh rah kind of thing, like as because we knew he was going to say no.
Yeah.
If possible, I'd like to have sort of like drilled that into them a little bit of like we stand behind our lord and we show no fear.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Sick.
Yeah, just really have that real show of force and like I don't want to use the word solidarity. But like the what I mean.
Loyalty. Yeah, you're on a you are a united front. They're not a
commitment to our Lord's decision.
God damn.
A unified front.
That's it.
And like a strong one at that.
That's it. That is where we will leave this session. Fairly eventful one. One night went mad and had a wander in the woods. Another one's been critically shot by a chance arrow. But we will return next week to see just how this all unfolds. Thanks all for playing, and thank you for everyone that tuned in. Hope we'll see you next week. And yeah, ciao.